Baldur's Gate 3 is peak power fantasy. You have all these cool spells and abilities, but what if you just want to play as a lowly farmer? Well, now you can with the Commoner class mod here by TheWailingBard. This comes with 4 different subclasses. Today we'll be focusing on the farmer. There's also the innkeeper, laborer, and town's guard. This is a class that is definitely undertuned, but that's fun because Baldur's Gate 3 is relatively easy, and you can use this as a fun thematic roleplay class to give yourself a bit of a challenge. Now, with the farmer subclass, we get the Call Loyal Livestock, which allows you to summon in your ox and it can charge at enemies. It'll gain health and armor class as we increase in commoner levels. And again, this class is going to be a bit weaker, but this is, I think, to be the stronger of the choices here. We also have a thematic weapon because there's tridents in the game and they fit perfectly here. But you also get the Green Thumb, giving you proficiency in animal handling, and your familiarity with a pitchfork lets you use spears semi-competently. Additionally, you can use your wisdom in place of your intelligence for nature checks. We also get Grit Die, which are D4, which allow us to add to our attack rolls, and we can also get some further benefits from this as well. We also have the Rough and Ready here, which, while armored, you can use your Constitution modifier in place of Dexterity to calculate your armor class. So if you want to go built around Strength, you could. And if you get the Constitution Amulet later on in the game, that's a really nice buff because that's going to set it to +6. Now, a solid stat spread is actually this stat spread here. Going with 16 Wisdom, your Constitution at 17. You can use the Hags here to take it up to 18. We get our Dexterity at 10, and then our Strength at 14. I personally like to go Dexterity based on a lot of different builds, so you can also build around your deck. Upon hitting level 2, we get our Tall Tales here, but we also get our Old Reliable here, which lets you use Wisdom for your attack and damage rolls. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, you can only have one Old Reliable at a time. We also get to pick between different tales. So the Boisterous Bard here gives you proficiency in performance and musical instruments. Crooked Con Artist gives proficiency in deception, and you can get Disguise Self or infiltration expertise. There's the Harrowing Haunt, which gives you proficiency in religion and intimidation, and adding your wisdom to your intimidation checks. The Menacing Mercenary Company gives proficiency with shields. There's also the Midnight Thief, getting proficiency and expertise in sleight of hand if you wanted to be a lockpicker. There's the Unfortunate Orphan, which gives you a little rat summon. It's kind of cool. And then there's the Wandering Woodsman, which gives proficiency with short bows and perception, which is a nice check to have. This is personal preference here, but I like getting the Disguise Self here because deception is the only really face skill that we have here, and intimidation. So yeah, that's, I guess, the two choices would be Harrowing Haunt or the Crooked Con Artist. Level 3 has a cool icon with the Fresh Produce. This will give you items from your bag, which you can feed yourself or an ally. The Eater will get a temporary health points equal to 3 plus your wisdom modifier. So just use a Grit Die to pull out some fruit and feed your team. It's kind of cool. Again, nothing too powerful. It is, again, undertuned, but fun. At level 4, we get to choose a feat. Alert for the +5 to initiative is always a good choice, or you can go with an increase to like your wisdom or your constitution. I'm going to use the amulet, just have that maxed out. Level 5 gives us our Gumption. This basically lets you add your D4 Grit Die to damage rolls, or you can also use your reaction Expended Grit Die and reduce the incoming damage by D4. While we don't have very many uses for our reaction, I guess this is a good way to use it. Getting a little extra damage here and there is nice. Again, undertuned, but that's the point of this class. Once we get to level 6, we get our Weather the Storm. Whenever you would get hit with this, it's basically the evasion spell, so you would take half damage normally from dexterity save spells like Fireball, and then if you succeed on the save, you now take no damage when normally you would take half damage. Now at this level here, I guess we'll go with the Harrowing Haunt. Yeah, it's kind of roleplay choices for those, so I'm not going to give too strong of a choice. Really, this class is roleplay heavy. Know-how. You can offer simple wisdom to others. When an ally makes a saving throw, you can use your reaction to add your wisdom modifier to its roll. So this is now actually giving us some more options. And this is another reaction, so we got to be mindful of what we're going to use our reaction on, because this is typically going to be a better choice, because helping them add a saving throw benefit is huge. This makes us a nice support, because, I mean, we have a hard time helping ourselves, so at least we can help the others. Level 8 gives us another feat. I think at this point, getting the alert. Farmers are up early. Farmers, you know, they get up, they get the worm. The early bird gets the worm, you know what I mean? So it makes sense for them to be alert. At level 9, we get True Grit. So whenever we begin a turn with no Grit Die left, we're going to get another free Grit Die. So that's kind of cool. Also, we get another Tall Tale here. So you can get, I guess, Midnight Thief if you want to start opening things. Or the Rat Summon. Pretty funny. Getting a rat is kind of useful. We also have our ox here, and that actually will get a nice benefit here. So the prize winner at level 10 Your loyal livestock's hit points are increased by an amount equal to your commoner level. Additionally, they can stomp twice per turn instead of once. And you also get till the field. You spend 8, thankfully, off-screen hours planting and caring for crops, duplicating the effects of plant growth. Creatures moving through the newfound weeds have their movement speed quartered. You can use this once per short rest for free. After that, it costs 3 grit die. Pretty cool spell here. Yeah, plant growth is really good because it doesn't require concentration. And yeah, it's also nice that you don't have to wait 8 whole hours to use this. So thank you, the Wailing Bard, for making that possible. Level 11 gives us the common no more. You have achieved your utmost pinnacle of what a commoner can be. Your grit die are now D6, and you gain an additional 10 health points. So yeah, common no more. Pretty great. And level 12 here, we get our last feat selection. We can go with a, I guess, Lucky might be a good choice here. I think this is an option because this doesn't eat our reaction. We get advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, saving throws. 3 die, I mean, it could help the commoner out. It needs all the luck that it can get. I don't normally pick luck unless we go to like level 20 in a mod. I'm going to take this. This mod lets you go past level 12, but there's no more features. This is just here to prevent the game from crashing. So you can go higher if you want. You'll just get a bit more health. You beat the commoner. Congrats. And I'm also using the Enchanted Threads outfit even star here, and I'm using favorite colors, the Baldur die. I'll be honest, this class is not going to be strong offensively. However, it can be decently defensive. So we have ourselves in a 26 armor class because we got our Constitution amulet here, giving us the rough and ready benefits there. Pretty good stuff here. I got the Mask of Soul Perception for the bonus to attack rolls. We're going to have a hard time hitting things, so that can at least help. The Haze Helm is another good choice early game, especially because it's going to give you increased movement speed, which helps, again, avoiding taking damage. We get Cloak Protection here just to help out with survivability a bit. The Ballast Armor, we may as well set up our actual attackers. So we're going to be a frontliner because we're going to run in there and then let someone that's got a bow get double damage. So they can use an arrow from any targets. And since we have the Aura of Murder there, it's going to apply that to everyone. It's kind of funny. Best available clothing or light armor, really. You can have a mage cast mage armor on you as well if you wanted to give yourself, I guess, a base 13 AC. The Graceful Cloth is actually a pretty good choice because it'll give you a bonus to your armor class, but also the Cat's Grace is probably the best early game option. Best of Soul Rejuvenation can work too, but I think this works to support our teammates because that's kind of our only role. I threw the Dark Justiciar gauntlets on because I think the green numbers are kind of cool. You got a green thumb, you got green numbers as a farmer. I don't know. There's not really any good gloves for this because it doesn't really do anything good. So there's nothing to really leverage here, I guess. You could just take the Wondrous Gloves, even though we don't have Bardic Inspiration. It's going to give us that musical note there, which is useless to us. It gives us 1 armor class, which is actually a little bit of extra survivability, so that could be good. I also have the Evasive Shoes on, again, for the armor class. We're just trying to keep ourselves alive as much as possible. I did throw the Stillmaker knife on, though. This actually gives us something really useful. Hold Person. And this is actually a level 3 one, so we can hold 2 people in place and get a free critical hit. So I guess that's our really only option that we got. We're not going to have a high spell save DC. You could also use Marka Heshker and get the free casting of Chain Lightning. That's really the only options if you want to make this strong, because we're not going to be hitting things very well. You could also use like the Knife of the Undermountain King in the early game. That's a pretty fun option. And even things like the Mind Sundering Dagger for some extra damage die. Yeah, it's really tough on what weapons we can and can't use because things like Fowler Louvre, which I would love to throw on here, we don't have the proficiency for. But we do for the Mind Sundering Dagger, which adds extra damage. So that's probably going to be our best damage option. The Cold Snap Dagger, I guess, too. We got Ficonia's Walking Fortress because, again, we need armor class. Now, the Crypt Lordering is interesting. So this actually helps out any of the worst classes in the game because a summon is just going to be... Our summon's better than we are, honestly. So, yeah, it's just an extension of us. And we have the Ring of Protection for more survivability. This is what I think for the decent gear to throw on here. It brings our armor class up to 27. We get a summon to further eat attacks for us. We got Hellrider Longbow to make sure that we do go first in combat. You could put on the Dark Bow to give yourself resistance to cold and fire damage. Yeah, those really, that's what we're going with. And yeah, before you get into combat, you can bring your Ox in as it is permanent until long rest. And it's got 79 health. So it too can tank for us. It has its charging attack. It can do twice, or the Stomp it can do twice. So yeah, it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's only 2d4 plus 3 bludgeoning, but it's something, I guess. I thought I should bring out Scratch as well to make this a little bit easier for us. So yeah, what we want to do, I guess, in combat is if you got scrolls, you could use those. I guess you could also use the Helmet of Arcane Acuity. and then use like an arrow of many targets to get +10 to your spell save, and then just spam scrolls. That's probably, in all honesty, the strongest way of playing this class. I'm going to use an arrow of many targets because that's really all I got right now. And I'm going to try and, if you get a free crit, that's going to crit everybody, which was enough to take out that target that was already damaged a bit. Yeah, we're not going to do a lot of damage outright on our own, so we really just focus on, I guess, trying to pick off. If you have Call the Weak too, I guess this is another niche that we hold, is just light damage peppering away at any target that does not have a lot of health points, because we're not going to be doing a lot of damage. We rolled a 12. If we use our grit die, we rolled a 4, we'll get that. I guess lucky comes in handy here because we can reroll with advantage. That's where this is actually a good choice for taking lucky, because if this was, let's say we rolled a 15, take the grit die, because that'll just put a +1 to your attack. Right now we're just going to go lucky to reroll, even though it didn't get hit. It was more likely. And we can use our lucky die to protect ourselves too, but we also have the gumption to be able to reduce damage. I'm actually going to use my reaction to do that. It actually took the damage down to 0. That was worth doing. So yeah, really, as I mentioned, it's tanky-ish. So that's what we want to leverage. Even though we don't have heavy armor proficiency, we can wear light armor and add our constitution modifier to it. So our Ox is kind of an MVP here. We got the stomp attacks that we can do, and we can just rush at a target there to do that attack and get a nice critical miss. We'll try that again. Nice miss. Yeah, that's kind of the experience with the commoner class. I think that's what makes it fun. It's a challenge. Now, I could let this combat drag out, but there are ways to make it stronger. We have spells and scrolls. Now, they won't have the highest hit chance unless you use the Helmet of Arcane Acuity plus that. But yeah, you can sometimes get a decent bit of damage off on it. We also got Thunder Wave there. Yeah, you're going to want to use items whenever possible. That did absolutely nothing. I'm scared. So I guess Mind Blast, if you got a Lithid abilities, those are probably our strongest abilities in the game for the commoner. So you can, that was 3 area of effect spells. We did take out 5 enemies with an 2 actions and a bonus action. So I mean, it can do stuff if you're willing to invest a lot of items. And I guess the farmer really, they're about making a bunch of items with the fresh produce. Maybe you could sell them and then use those to buy a bunch of scrolls. I don't know. I guess it's the way to do it. And then use the sleight of hand proficiency. And we're about to get hit with a crit, so we're going to turn that, and it's about to damage us. We're going to reduce that. We took 2 damage, so that's something. We stopped a crit and then reduced damage. Sometimes it's just those little things that make it useful. I'm going to break a rule. I normally don't use my other characters in these videos, but I think this warrants it, because otherwise this video will get extended out quite a bit. We need all the support we can have in this. Oh, we got hit with command, but we have another lucky point to still get hit with command. Thank goodness I have Psionic Dominance, because we're getting hit with the command after command. That's the one way I could actually shut it down. Sometimes you want to save your reaction. That's what I was mentioning, because you have some other ways to help out. I guess I'll use Minsk as well here, and I'll just go ahead with a lightning arrow, because there's for some reason Ragdoll and Body right there. And then, yeah, we really don't have great options. We could use Arrow of Many Targets, I guess. That's going to be one of the best items for us to use, because that's going to chain around and hit multiple enemies. And we can use we can add a bonus to our die here, I guess. We can go with 3 grit die, I guess. Yeah, that actually made it help hit. So that took out 1 target. Perfect. And here's a Circle of Death spell in the interest of not making this video 100 minutes long. Yeah, so it's not strong at all, but it's something. They just watched me murder the whole city, and the farmer was able to talk them out of it because they have their cows. So I guess that's the secret ability of this class, is it's really good at just role-playing, and somehow we got lucky there. So yeah, check out the Commoner class mod by TheWailingBard. There's other subclasses too. I encourage you to try them all out. They're pretty funny. But I just like having a big cow here. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next one.